This is part 2 of the Insane Granny story. If you haven't seen the first part, you can find it in the description below. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's get started with this part 2 of Insane Granny. All was quiet on my day off. No sign of Insane Granny. Sorry, Drama Llamas, no feed today. I called the police officer who previously took my statement, and there's nothing they can do about Insane Granny being at the house. He also just repeated what I already knew about trespassing, harassment, and access laws. I tried, but apparently it barely counts as an incident, never mind more than one. As far as a witness intimidation goes, the law, the few that exist, only really protects witnesses and victims when a case goes to court. He also warned me to try to remove her from the property or set traps, as if she's injured, she can sue. I hadn't planned to anyways. The good news is that it's been officially reported, and I've sent in the video of her trying to open the horse's gate. Social services also know and have assured me that they're still investigating Insane Granny's friend. They wanted to know if it was the friend with Insane Granny, but she doesn't appear on the tape. I've pointed them in my mother's direction, though, as she can give a description of the woman. I texted the kid's mom in the night I made the last update. And you get a cookie. Or a stiff drink if you'd prefer. She was too busy exploding at her husband to reply, but she called me the next day and updated me. The kid's dad is the leak. He categorically denied giving my address to Insane Granny. No, he's not that stupid. He gave it to the social services friend. Moron. Absolutely, she called him the next day after her little intervention, asking for the witness's address, and he just handed it over. I've not met this guy yet, but I already know I want to kick him in his special place, his teeth. From what she said, he seemed to be coming around to the fact that Mommy Dearest is a psycho, but obviously there are still problems. This incident has caused him to slip back into his previous delusions. Example, he doesn't believe that she would come all the way out here and I must be lying to them. So she made him ring Insane Granny and outright asked her if she's been to my parents' place. As she told me this, I was already sending her the video so she could show it to her husband and prove Insane Granny was lying. Well, that never happened. Insane Granny admitted on speakerphone to the kid's parents that she's been at my parents' place. According to her, number 1, she went to confront me for lying to the police and convinced me to, quote, follow the moral path to save her family. Number 2, no one by my name lives there. Number 3, the lady that lived at the address, I'm assuming this is my mom, had never heard of me. Number 4, I did not give my real address, so I can't be trusted. The kid's mom told Insane Granny that it was my parents' place, and I was staying there because of my broken ankle, which had been further injured by her actions. Basically, she defended me and it turned into a screaming match before Insane Granny hung up. I get why the kid's mom corrected her. I do. But now it's been confirmed that I do live at that address, so she'll probably come out again. Her friend was never mentioned though, and I've sent her the video of Insane Granny, which won't do much if she's admitting she was out there. They have also had their little initial assessment by their actual service worker, and it seemed to go well and they'll be in contact soon. I honestly can't figure out what Insane Granny's plan is here. I'm very suspicious of her immediately admitting to being at my parents' place. Unless she noticed the cameras and figured she'd been caught. It's impossible, or is it? They weren't exactly hidden. A few other things I've done since Insane Granny's visit. Moved some of the security cameras to cover the front house. Well, this is a lie, actually, my dad did that. I was just there. They're pretty well hidden, so if Insane Granny and her mysterious friend do get wind of the fact that she was caught at the gate, and decide to visit again but avoid the gate, she should be caught at the front of the house. At the very least, we'll get the car license plate. Bonus, Scottish law says nothing about having to signpost that there are cameras about as the only aim at our domestic property. Number 2, the foal has been moved. Now, this was going to happen anyways. We're starting to wean her and get her used to a few things. Her head collar, lead rope, the farrier, etc. And get her socializing with the other fowls. Pregnant mom is boring now. Unfortunately, the mare is still in there as it's coming to winter now, and we don't have anywhere else suitable to put her. I'm not overly worried. She tends to keep her distance from strangers, even when offered food. There's not much more we can do with her. And number 3, I also did something I maybe should not have. I lifted Insane Grandy and her mysterious friend's prints from the gate in the window. There was really great set on the window. Now for a whole heap of reasons. These will never, ever stand up as evidence in court, if anything ever got to that stage. I don't really know why I did it. They can't be used in any official capacity, but there you go. Update number 1 for part 2. This occurred 14 days later. So, I had an interesting few days. To the total and utter shock of exactly no one, Insane Granny showed up at my parents' place again. I was there alone and heard the doorbell, but not the car pulling up. I answered the door, and Insane Granny was just standing with another woman, who claimed to be from social services. I suspect this is the elusive social service friend that has been, quote, helping. She wanted to interview me about the original incident and my police report. I didn't let them into the house and told social service lady that there's no way I'm giving her my statement with Insane Granny there. She should not even be here, and I should not have been contacted before she just randomly showed up. Social service lady then backtracked a bit and said that it was just a friendly, unofficial visit to discuss me redacting my statement to the police. Before I could react to that, Insane Granny opened her mouth and asked in a sickly sweet voice, "Why won't you let us in the house? Is it because it's full of drugs?" You what? I know she's been telling people this, but that was rather on the nose. I ignored her and told them to both leave while she tried to peer around me and into the house. Social service lady just kept pushing for an unofficial interview, and then said they could wait while I tidied away the drugs, if it made me more comfortable. At this point, I realized they are both completely insane, and I probably won't be able to reason with either of them, so I asked them to leave again and told them I would call the cops if they did not comply. Not exactly a bluff, I would have definitely called them. It's just that I know that there's absolutely nothing they can do, but I was hoping the threat of it would make them leave. Then Insane Granny opened her mouth again and said, how much do you make working as a beep? She was oddly calm when she asked these questions, like she was asking me about the weather. It was creepy as duck. I assumed she wanted a big reaction from me to make me look like the crazy one. Well, she didn't get one. I just blinked at her and took out my phone to call the police. I didn't even manage to start dialing before social service lady said they were leaving and asked me when I'd be available just to give my statement to her. I said, if social services want to interview me, it'll be by a different social worker and would be at my place of employment. Then I gave her my business card since my purse was just inside the door. That shut her up and she started to walk back to her car. Insane Granny, however, wasn't happy that social service lady wanted to leave. She suddenly went from creepy calm and sweet to screaming at me. She had a proper tantrum too, stomping her feet, flinging her body about, flailing. She even started kicking one of my mom's planters, repeatedly. I don't know if she was trying to break it or kick it over, but she just kept ramming her foot into it while screaming that I'm a, quote, lying beep, taking her baby away, a scum, trying to ruin her life, just like the kid's mom, and some other choice words. I just turned around, went inside the house, and closed the door on her. I could see from the window that the social service lady had pulled Insane Granny back to the car. They sat there for a few minutes talking before Insane Granny just lost her crap. I have no idea what she was saying, but she was banging her fist on the dash and throwing herself about. The car was actually shaking. 2 minutes later, they pulled away. And I have the entire episode on tape. I called the police I've been dealing with and met him yesterday to report this and give him the tape. This definitely goes down as an incident of harassment, and I've spoken to HR at work who are setting up a meeting for me with a solicitor. I've also complained to social services again and updated the kids' parents. I also saw on the tape that before they rang the doorbell, they went snooping again. Not near the horse this time, but they were looking at and in the windows. I'm not sure what will happen of this. I'm hoping social service lady has come to her senses and dumps insane granny's butt, or she tries it at my work, which won't go well for her at all. Update number 2, 18 days later. So I only found out about this today and I'm writing it up in the middle of a staff meeting, so bear with me. I called the kid's mom on the way into work and it just all came out. She was too upset and it's too early in the process yet to answer a lot of questions. So basically, I know what you know or are about to know. Firstly, I met with a solicitor through work. I've had to do it this way in case insane granny attempts to approach me while I'm at a crime scene. He doesn't think there's enough for a non-harassment order, but he's going to try anyways. This isn't costing me anything, by the way, so he can do what he wants. We've put a few safety measures and deterrents in place that I'm going to mention here just in case. I called the kid's mom this morning to update her about my solicitor, and she gave me an update on insane granny. Oh boy, is she living up to her name. She called the kid's dad while he was at work last week and left a series of ranting messages. Mostly were about how she was done with all the petty fighting, how everything was kid's mom's fault, and he never should have married her, etc. In one, she told him she was putting her foot down, and that they were leaving and they should meet her at the airport as soon as he left work. He, in what I assume is a very rare moment of intelligence, I'm not a fan of this man, completely ignored her and instead went home after work. Any bets as to what he found when he got home? If you guessed a wide open front door in a ransacked house, ding ding ding, you win a cookie and a stiff drink. If you guessed insane granny packing his clothes and belongings into a suitcase, ding ding ding, you win 2 cookies and a double shot. If you guessed all the kids' clothes and toys packed into insane granny's car, along with the actual kid, ding ding ding, 3 cookies. Well, if you guessed all the above, congratulations, you win a bakery. Yep, insane granny was still on the pickup list for the kids' nursery. Don't worry, this has been fixed. So she packed all her stuff, picked up the kid, used the hidden spare key to get into the parents' house, packed their son's and granddaughter's belongings, including their passports and birth certificates, loaded up the car, and went with the intent of heading to the airport and leaving the country. I'm not sure what the kid's dad's reaction was, but he did call his wife, kid's mom, and tell her she did not need to pick up kid from the nursery. When she told me this, I believe my reaction was, "Oh, how ducking thoughtful of him." Then I eye-rolled so hard they fell out, and I lost them. So if you see them nearsighted blue, I'll pay for shipping. Anyways, kid's mom heard insane granny in the background of the phone call and got the story out of him. I think you all probably heard her roaring when she found out an insane granny's plan. She immediately called the police while she sped on her way home. The kid's mom pulled up before the police did, and she immediately got her kid out of insane granny's car. When she entered the house, insane granny lived up to her namesake and went insane at her. I wasn't given details about what she said, but there was apparently a lot of screaming about the kid's mom stealing her baby and ruining her life. I've got no idea what the kid's dad was doing at this point. So, the police arrived and insane granny instantly shut up and became all sweet and calm. Well, she pulled this act with me last time I saw her. It's creepy as duck. The police separated the kid's mom and insane granny to take statements, and once again insane granny lied. She claimed that the kid's dad had let her into the house, and that she was helping him move out as the kid's parents were divorcing. I think she was expecting the kid's dad to just roll over and go along with her lies, like usual. Instead, he just looked really defeated and told the police, No, that's not what happened. So, Insane Granny was arrested for theft by housebreaking, which is basically breaking and entering, but Scotland is a special little snowflake and doesn't have breaking and entering. Instead, we have housebreaking, which isn't illegal unless there was also intent to steal. We also don't have burglary, instead we have a robbery, which is theft with violence or theft or violence. And we have theft, which is, well, theft. The kidnapping rules are also weird too. England and Wales have kidnapping laws, but Scotland has abduction laws, over the age of 12. None of them count in this situation, as Insane Granny technically still had permission to pick the kid up from playgroup, and she took the kid to her primary residence. Yeah, she planned to leave the country with her, but the fact that she planned for the kid's dad to come, she even had a plane ticket for him, counts as having parental permission to take the child out of the country, as technically the kid would be in her dad's custody. Regardless, if this was by design or not, she's very good at just skirting at the edge of illegal and dancing about it in some gray area. Anyways, she was charged and then released on bail. She's still out there. Kid's dad seems to have seen the light though, which is good, and they've started cracking down on their security now too. She's been taken off the nursery pickup list, and they're changing the locks and security cameras as we talk. Oh, and social services got back to them and gave them the all clear. They're not taking their investigation any further. Update number 3, 7 days later. I mentioned last time that Insane Granny is out on bail. She's electronically tagged, has a curfew, and is not allowed in any contact with kids' parents or the kid. This includes being near their house, workplace, the kid's school, etc. She's also being charged with a few other things for some of her previous actions relating to me. I'm not actually going to say what these charges are, as the court rolls are public, so anonymity would be right out the window. This means she's not allowed to contact or be near me either, so yay. Personally, I'm hoping this is the end of it, but history has shown I'm not that lucky. The kid's parents are still together though, from what the kid's mom said. This is only so the kid can have a nice Christmas. She seems to have the same problem that a lot of you here do. She thinks her husband is perfect in every way, except for when he comes to pretty much everything regarding his mother. But he agreed to counseling, so we'll see what happens in the new year. I spoke to Aunt as well. She's completely on the kid's mom's side. She does not have anything nice to say about her brother, right now at least. That said, she's telling me some stories about their childhood, and I'm pretty sure Insane Granny is evil in the purest form. Social services friend has been struck off. I had an interview with their other investigative committee, or whoever, and gave my witness statement. She has an interim order, so she can't work in any form of social services at all. I've had no idea how long that'll last, but she was found to be a danger to the general public and service users, so I'm hoping a long time. I'll also be on her Disclosure Scotland, so I doubt she'll ever work with the vulnerable again. There'll be a hearing sometime in the next 6 months or so that I'll be testifying at too. I think that's really it. We're keeping the security cameras around the house, and I'm actually moving back to my apartment sometime in the new year, which I'm looking forward to. Guys, there was even more to this story than we thought just from what we've heard. I read in the comment section the story's actually not over. Once Grandma got out of the jail, she went straight to OP's workplace and tried to burn it down using petroleum. She backed her car into the door so no one could escape. Luckily, she failed and she's headed to prison. So that's a wild little ride. I did not expect to see that little bit of information posted by OP. Let me know what you guys think of this saga. Do you enjoy when I do multiple part videos? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.